Hello, thank you for listening to and watching You Had Options. This episode, I have Pretty Ricky Willdy, pro wrestler extraordinaire, on the podcast. Talk about his career in pro wrestling. Talk about the show he has coming up November 5th at the Battle Arts Academy in Mississauga, Ontario, to benefit the Caulfield family, Arthur Caulfield Memorial Show. There's a good, he talks about the stipulation match of, somebody's going to get their legs waxed, when they lose. Very excited to see the outcome of that. Thanks, Ricky, for joining me. It was fun. Hope you guys enjoy it. Go find Ricky online, at ProWilldy, PROWILLDY. Go find You Had Options online. Go like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Go subscribe, on YouTube. I'm trying out some new software and some new recording equipment. So I'm going to see how that goes. Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy. Okay. Hey, Ricky.
Morning. How are
now
you?
Recording. I'm doing well. How are yourself?
I'm pulling it together. Things are feeling good.
Yeah.
Anybody listening who doesn't know, my name is Ricky Willdy.
Oh yeah. Is it Pretty Ricky Willdy? Is that?
I mean, you can tell just by looking at me. Come on now.
Right.
Come on.
Gorgeous. How long have you been wrestling for?
I started wrestling when I was, it's a good question. I started wrestling on the amateur circuits when I was in elementary school. I was wrestling my brother in my backyard since the time I was like 5. Right. I was wrestling professionally when I finished college. So that would have been 2016. 2016 is when I had my first match professionally.
Damn. What?
I know, it's been some time, man. It's crazy.
So 6 years now.
6 years.
So
some of that I was asleep for too. So it's like, do you even count it?
So did you go through like wrestling school, and was that how you got started, or was you just started wrestling?
So again, was wrestling my whole life more or less. Amateur wrestler for the most part. When I finished university, I was no longer a collegiate wrestler, and I was gonna move out Calgary. I was gonna move out to Calgary. My apologies, so that I could train with Lance Storm when he was still running his school. But then fate intervened. I went to a show, the Toronto Super Pro show, something like that. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, there was a contest there where the winner got a scholarship for Battle Arts Academy, which signed up. Crushed it. I won. So all of a sudden, instead of moving to Calgary, I was moving to Mississauga. And, who knows how different my life would have been had I moved out there. Honestly, I probably would have been about the same if I had to guess. But ultimately, I moved out to Mississauga. I spent like 3 years there, something like that, training under Santino Marella, Yuki Ishikawa, and becoming the full-fledged package that you see before you.
Hey, so are you in Toronto right now? Did you grow up in Toronto?
No, I'm in Brantford, Ontario, Canada. It's a beautiful, beautiful city.
Okay.
Couple too many people, though, if I'm being honest with you. We're getting to the point now we got like 100,000 people, and there's just a couple too many. So if there was anything I could do to save Brantford, it would be to get rid of some of the people.
Are you keeping a list of people specifically of like who should
hard.
go, or?
I haven't figured out exactly how to adjudicate that process. So I don't know necessarily what's the best way to go. I don't know if it's, people based on, maybe we'll take a test. And if they can do a test, then we'll let them stay. And if they can't, then we'll kick them out. Maybe if they're over a certain height, you know, and if they're not, then we'll kick them out.
Gotcha.
I've run through a couple of these ideas. Nothing really sticks. Nothing really works. But ultimately, I would love to bring that number down from 100,000 people. The reality is so many people are coming here because it's such a beautiful city. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah. Brantford. Yeah, I've been to Toronto. So where in respect to Toronto is Brantford?
It's like an hour away, hour and a half, something like that. I don't know. It's not too far. It's like half in the country, half with the city. We got a Walmart, but you know, anything you would need there, but nothing particularly special. It's where Wayne Gretzky came from. So me and him got that in common.
Yeah. Okay. Two greats, you know, in their
couple
respective
of great
fields.
Ones. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Toronto seems like there's a huge wrestling scene. You know, I try to keep up. So I imagine you've spent a lot of time in Toronto wrestling.
Yeah, I've done a couple laps around Toronto. It's hard, you know. There's a hell of a scene throughout Ontario, but the Toronto center of it necessarily does get hit pretty hard. There's a lot of outrageous shows going on in there. Not to mention a couple of schools, so it does pump out some talent. I do feel like there's a publicity issue though. It doesn't get seen for the most part. Some just ridiculous shows, but they stay, you know, pretty quiet. The place is packed. Not saying that, but you know how many people see that event afterwards. It's a very strange thing, but cool to be a part of. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah. Have you been able to go overseas yet?
I have not gone overseas. The farthest I've gone is Texas. So I'm between Canada, Texas. I was in Minnesota a little bit ago. I'm going to Detroit in a week. So this thing just never stops, but I have not gone overseas. I do want to make it to England at some point. I have a lot of family lineage from England, so the idea of going back there, walking cobblestone roads that my grandfathers did, that seems like a very interesting idea, while also being there to wrestle some young chaps.
Some hardstyle gentlemen, I guess. Did you go to Buc-ee's in Texas? Did you get that? I
did go to Buc-ee's.
Experience?
Buc-ee's was absolutely one of the highlights of going almost anywhere in America. Almost one of the highlights of leaving my home had been going to Buc-ee's. That place was fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Hours and hours were spent at Buc-ee's. Yeah, it's great.
Is there a Canadian equivalent? Is there a Tim Hortons that's the size of like a Walmart Supercenter up there?
So there are a couple of special Tim Hortons throughout Canada. There's the Tim Hortons Museum. There's the Hockey Hall of Fame Tim Hortons. But none of these even remotely compare to a standard Buc-ee's. And if you do nothing with your life, here's how I'm really going to prove that I'm trash at my core. If you do nothing with your life, you need to take a voyage, a pilgrimage, to a Buc-ee's at some point in your life.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you know, people say you got to go to Jerusalem. You know, you got to go to Mecca.
You can also do that.
You can do that, but come on, we know where the real heat is. It's in Buc-ee's.
It's unbelievable. It's as American a product as I've ever seen, and it just felt like a hug the whole time I was there.
Yeah. So I grew up in Mobile, Alabama, and they built a Buc-ee's. They built a Buc-ee's right outside of Mobile on the interstate. It was like the first one outside of Texas, and every day, every time I've been there, it's been like Black Friday, like shopping atmosphere where it's just like. You know, nut to butt, just people everywhere.
I don't know. I'm usually going there like 4 a.m. It's a lot less people.
It's always the scene.
I don't know. Did you ever go to the bathroom when you were there?
Oh, yeah.
They're the cleanest bathrooms in the world. I've never seen a cleaner bathroom.
Top notch.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
And they've got each stall is like a personal area. Yeah. It's not like, you know, you're not getting some little kid, you know, sticking their head under the stall, sneaking a peek. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, but,
it's like a full door experience. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, like driving through Ontario. It's funny, like there's people are people everywhere, but there's a lot of similarities. Just people being people. But then I remember we stopped at like a CVS or something. I was like, God, I gotta go to the bathroom, and like there wasn't like a public restroom. I was like, I don't know if that's a thing where
there are public washrooms, but a CVS would not have been the choice to make if I'm just speaking to Ontario. I'll be honest with you, man. It's beautiful. Ontario is a beautiful, beautiful place, especially in fall. But in terms of how nice it is to drive it, I don't think it compares to America. I just don't. You guys got sex shops and firework factories every 20 miles. It's amazing.
Yeah, man. If you're traveling the interstate system in America, you're gonna see some wild signs. I know on I-65 in Alabama, there's Confederate memorial like sites for Civil War and huge rebel flags, off the interstate. So yeah, but we also got fireworks, mega stores, and sex shops too.
It's been a lot of good time on the interstate, man.
Yeah, it's the melting pot, but you've got this memorial show coming up November 5th, right?
November 5th in Mississauga. I do have a memorial show going on. We have a wrestler on our local scene. His name's Holden Albright, also known Brendan Caulfield. Either way, he recently ran into some tragedy and calamity, and so we're trying to put together a show because there's a reality here where a lot of his friends are professional wrestlers, and not a lot of us have a tremendous amount of money. So instead, we do have a lot of passion, enthusiasm, time, and a hell of a lot of talent. So we're coming in hot. We're putting on a big old show, and we're trying to raise as much money as we can so that we can donate it entirely to this young man and his family, trying to make things a little easier in this this time of need.
Yeah, that's cool. It's the independent wrestling scene reminds me a lot of like DIY, like punk scene, especially like the touring aspect, and everybody knows most people in different circles.
No, for sure.
It's cool y'all are able.
I would compare that as well. That connection. I don't know. It's very fun, and it's there's something about the life on the road aspect of it. You know what I mean? Much like I would assume being in a band would be that same element of. I don't know. There is no home base. You're kind of gone on the road, and how that brings people together when they have to kind of go into each other, as opposed to can really make roots into something.
Yeah. You're sleeping on couches and driving whatever 10 hours at a time, whatever.
Yeah.
But who's gonna be on this show? Besides, you're wrestling. Are you wrestling Sonny Kiss on this show?
Unfortunately, I am not wrestling Sonny Kiss. I did recently wrestle Sonny Kiss, and we had ourselves a blast. I ended up that night in a tag team match, myself and a partner against Santino Marella and Sonny Kiss. So that was one hell of a night. I will let you know your assumptions are correct. I won that match. It was fantastic. Me and Sonny got along. Santino kept coming at me with that snake, though. So, anywho, on this show, yes, I will be wrestling. I'm actually part of the booking committee for this show. I've been elected to be the guy to make the media rounds because I'm reasonably good at speaking. But also, I've been a part of the booking committee here in Ontario for what this show is going to look like. We've every show I went to in the locker room, every time I ran into someone, we would all have the same idea. We should run a show. We should run a show for Brendan. So that's what we've done, and everybody is kind of getting an input of how this show is going to look. I kept politicking to try and be in the main event. And they refused. They wouldn't let me. I kept screaming and yelling, but whatever, that was a no-go. But I have finagled myself a title match, so I will be wrestling for the HWE Television Championship, which is held by Clay Wilson right now, and I will be trying to break his neck because that company does pay quite well for Ontario. So if he's injured, I'm champion, and that would really help out my financial gains. I'm pretty excited about that. Clay's a nice guy. No, Clay's a dick, but I will try to hurt him. Anyways, a very exciting match we got set up here this is personally something I had my hands all over. I wanted it to be a who could smoke more crystal meth match was what I presented. The idea was that it would be a round system, and every round they would have to smoke more crystal meth and then begin fighting each other. I was vetoed. That wasn't allowed. But here's the match that we do have booked. It's Rex Atkins versus Eazy-E Eric Carney, and the loser will have their legs waxed live in the ring during intermission. I'm so excited for this.
That's pretty good. I've never heard of you got your hair versus
first time ever
beard or hair versus hair match, but leg hair match.
We're gonna leg wax someone.
This is a leg wax. How are the participants gonna keep stay honest? Like, what if they shave their legs a week before? Or...
Yeah, I guess I never even considered that, if I'm going to be honest with you. We picked some of the hairiest dudes that we could. I guess we would notice, you know what I mean? So already kind of shaming them like you signed up for this, but then you're backing out halfway. So that would be embarrassing. But also to raise the stakes a little bit and to try to raise a little bit of funds, we have a live element for our fans in attendance where you can pay just $5 Canadian and you can put on and rip off a strip of wax yourself.
Damn. That's
fan interaction like you've never seen before.
The crystal meth match.
Yes. Great idea, right?
That's a good idea. What's the craziest stipulation match you've seen? Actually,
I think casket full of thumbtacks match was the craziest thing I ever saw.
Oh my god!
No, I shouldn't even say that. If I'm being honest, so many death matches they're crazy. I was once in the position of a guy. I was backstage trying to start up a weed whacker for a guy, and he came back and had to kind of fiddle with it and prime it, right, and then get it going before he ran out there. And there was a sense of what the hell is going on here. You know what I mean? Pure pandemonium. So I don't know if those matches even get titles or if it's just kind of who can survive this kind of match. It's craziness.
What is? Do you have whenever you're going into a match, is there a thought where you're oh man, I gotta, or have you ever experienced? You don't have to name names, but have you ever experienced where somebody's oh man, I gotta get this GIF move in that I do?
If someone's got it, let's rock and roll. Because I'm trying to. I want to be the thing on the show that everyone remembers every time. And that was the same when I was an amateur wrestler for the University of Toronto. I wanted the exact same thing. Win, lose, or draw is not totally my concern. It's I am the guy that everyone's walking out of here going, you remember that? 100%. So if you've got some kind of back pocket big gifable moment that's going to get me across the internet, we're going to do it. We're going to do it again right now. But for the most part, we try our best. Some people more successful than others. I've been gift 3,000 or 4,000 times. I went viral recently this year. I've actually just been set up with a Caesar salad sponsorship, so I'm pretty excited about that. Things are going crazy. I also got sponsored by Confetti Cannon Company, Legends Confetti Cannon. Shout out to Legends. They hooked me up with confetti cannons because I'm a confetti athlete. I'm officially sponsored, baby. You can't take that away from me. Speaking of which, officially sponsored, we got a whole host of sponsors, but somebody who's bringing a match for us on our show November 5th in Mississauga, that's Revolution, and Revolution is presenting Alexia Nicole, local bubblegum princess, taking over the Indies. Can't believe she's not signed. She was just on AEW Dark. She will be taking on the quintessential diva, Giselle Shaw, Impact Wrestling superstar. So that is the first time ever combatants. Very exciting match to finally be taking place, and we're the ones who get to do it. Impact wanted it. AEW wanted it. We're getting it first.
Hell yeah. That's cool. That's, yeah, just from like putting together like DIY punk shows, I know it's just nerve-wracking the whole time for the most part. Do you get a similar experience with booking a wrestling show?
I would 100% agree to that. I'm terrified and an anxious pile of mess most of the day. It's a very similar feeling of before going out to a match. I've never had a match where I haven't said I was going to be sick right before going out. It feels like I'm going to vomit. I don't know. That's just like where the nerve endings take themselves now. But, you know, it rarely ever happens. Same thing now. I've been in a 6-week thing, an 8-week thing, whatever it's been. I don't even remember at this point, with the entire Ontario Council. And I'm a nervous wreck every single day trying to do this. But if I'm being honest, if it wasn't this, it'd be something else, and I'd be nervous about that because that's the kind of guy I am. Perhaps it's the caffeine, but I feel like it's the only thing keeping me going. So I'm at just enough anxiety that I can sleep but still get things done at a reasonable rate. And I don't know how much more I can ask from the good Lord above other than that.
Yeah, man, a functioning anxiety heap. I get that. I feel that. So is the council an actual council of people, or is that just like
they've never been assembled before? I don't know if they would appreciate me calling them the Ontario Council of Wrestling, but I think it's funny as hell.
I like it.
So yeah, there's like 8-12 of us. I don't remember how many people are in the room, whatever. But it's all just people who were saying the same thing, that as soon as this tragedy and calamity happened to Holden Albright, Brennan Caulfield, that we all decided that this is exactly what we had to do. We had to set ourselves up and make sure that we were getting as much out of this as we possibly could. And the best thing that we could do is run a show. So this will never happen again. We are never running a show together again. That will absolutely not happen. I personally will never take part in booking a show in Mississauga, the Greater Toronto area, if I can help it, for the rest of my life. So I'm out after this one. But this is the one that we're all going in on, and we're putting some work in, and we should be one unforgettable evening.
Yeah. It sounds sick. Where is it again?
Like Mississauga, Ontario. This is happening at Battle Arts Academy. That's 4880 Tompkin Road in Mississauga. Again, this is the house that Yuki Ishikawa and Santino Marella built. Very excited to be able to be graciously invited in there and to have this show in honor of Arthur Caulfield and to raise money for Brennan Caulfield and the entire Caulfield family. If you can come, please come. We have tickets available on Eventbrite. If you put in Battle Arts, we will pop right up. I promise you that. All links can be found through all my bios, all that stuff on social media. We have no company social media pushing this through because, again, we're never doing this again. This is not a company. So this is just the team of Ontario putting this together, trying to help out a good cause. Can I give you one more match? While we're here, can I give you one more match?
Yeah.
I got a battle royal. Not that those are the most exciting match to put on a poster, admittedly, but I got a battle royal where the winner of it will go on to Barrie Wrestling, which is on IWTV, and get an actual opportunity. So I've opened this up to every school, not just in Ontario. I got guys coming in from Buffalo because they want an opportunity. And here it is. All you got to do to get in is sell a ticket. You sell a ticket and you're coming in. We got promo codes left, right, and center. If you can prove that you're worthy of people coming in to see you wrestle, then yeah, we want you in the match. And once you're in the match, any man for himself. And we just got to see who wins there, and they debut at Barrie Wrestling. So we're very excited to be having that. And hell, I'm going to go one deeper. I'm going to go one deeper here for you because I like this podcast.
Okay,
I got
thanks, Ricky.
A tag team match that I've been dying to see. It's the tag team match that encapsulates Ontario Indie Wrestling and it's not being publicized. We got guys on here from DDT in Japan. We got guys on here from AEW. We got guys on here from the WWE Network. Literally right now, we have the Space Pirates, Space Monkey, and Shane Saber taking on Fight or Flight of Gabriel Fuerza and Von Vertigo. This is a show that this is a match that every major company wants, and we're the ones who get it. We get to put this match on, and we could not be more proud. Because you think about these men and where they're going, where they've been. These guys are the cream of the crop, the top of the pile, and they're going to be showcasing their skills and their talents in a top prime spot like this in front of all of Ontario wrestling. We could not be more excited about this.
Damn. Yeah. That's it sounds like a full, I've never heard of, you can pretty much, a battle royal where you just sell a ticket, you can get in.
Ticket seller battle royal. They got to have a green light. I will be kicking out any schmucks if they think that they're going to be just getting themselves in there like that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to tolerate that. But yeah, I've been in contact with all the coaches of all the schools around Ontario. So I know which students, kind of want it, which ones have been passed, which ones have an opportunity. So, hey, if you think this is your moment, then here you go. Put your money where your mouth is. Let's see if you can step up to this opportunity and get yourself a shot. Because again, Barrie Wrestling, when I was not on that show versus when I was on that show, I was looked at as very differently. My rate went up. I was on posters. I became something different. So here is your opportunity to no longer just be a student at a wrestling school and actually be getting booked at a top tier level indie on the IWTV network. So I'm just saying these opportunities are being presented. And if these students want to take them, they're out there.
Damn. So is this going to be live somewhere?
This will be live, streamed through the THC Twitch channel as well. All of the footage will be going to Brendan Caulfield to release through his Patreon as well. So we are trying to have this on as many channels as possible where people can donate. You can go get a ticket at eventbrite.ca. I don't think it's .ca. Never mind. Just Google Eventbrite. You will find it. I promise you this. Eventbrite is the website that we're going for. Eventbrite.com. Whatever. Please, if you can support, do support. We do appreciate anything and everything that we can. We got championships from around Ontario being defended on this as a sign of good faith. We've got opportunities presented, and I can't wait to see that guy get his legs waxed. So it's going to be a hell of a night.
Oh man. You said you have a Caesar salad deal?
I got a Caesar salad sponsorship.
Circle back around to that. What company?
I'm sponsored by Caesar Salad.
What?
Legends Confetti Cannon sponsored me, and so did Caesar Salad.
See, I love it. So, do they send you like free confetti cannons like all the time? Are you getting
not the Caesar Salad, but Legends does? Yeah,
Legends. Yeah,
yeah. And then Caesar Salad sends me Caesar Salad. Which, if I can just real quick, hearty, healthy, and delicious. How good is Caesar salad? All right, thank you.
It's my favorite salad. Yeah.
Hail Caesar, am I right?
That's right. Are you a strict diet person? Are you like?
I try to be, but Halloween is a rough time of year for me. It's my absolute favorite time of year, and there's just candy in the house, so it's a little hard for me. I got a sweet tooth like you couldn't believe. I got a sweet tooth like a crack fiend. You know what I mean?
I feel you. Yeah, a lot. Man, you get some of them Reese's, pumpkins.
I won't bring chocolate into this house because if it's got chocolate and peanut butter or a peanut attached, peanut M&Ms, I will devour it. It won't last the day. But I do bring gummies into the house. I try not to go for them. I still do. It's a crazy time of year.
What's your go-to gummy? A sour gummy?
It would be a Swedish fish. Swedish fish would be the go-to.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a good one. Chocolate covered Jube Jube is something I found out recently, and wow. It's just incredible.
Jube Jube. What is
chocolate covered Jube Jube? $3 at Walmart.
Uh-oh. Oh man, we got a little behind the scenes of the pump dungeon. Oh man. Had you been into when you were a kid? Were you into pro wrestling? Like, was that a thing?
Exclusively and entirely. I think there was a week and a half where I was into Batman, and beyond that, it's just been pro wrestling.
Who, when you were a kid, who was some of your top wrestlers?
Jeff Hardy was the one that I loved as a kid.
Mm.
I really liked him as a child, and then as I got older, it was like Ultimate Warrior, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker. That was the four that I really gravitated to. Samoa Joe stuck out for me when I met him. And now looking back on it, it's like Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker, maybe Vince McMahon. Those are the three that are just like, that is the most fun I was having with wrestling when I saw those three. But who knows, rose-colored glasses, you kind of change the perception of what you saw as a child to what it really was to how you feel about it. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. Would y'all go to wrestling events?
There's a famous story in my family where my mom, my dad, my grandma, and my my big brother were all going to wrestling when he was just a little kid. And as they were walking into Cops Coliseum in Hamilton, a limousine pulls into them. It's the $1 Million Man. So my grandma just starts screaming at the side of this limo, "You dirty wrestler, you cheating, rotten brother!" Anyways, he rolls down his window and flips her off and drives into the Cops Coliseum, which is just like one of the most beautiful things I can think of. Yeah, it's a great moment in our family.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I love that.
This is going to sound a little dark, but when I was like 11, my mom took me to meet Chris Benoit. He was heavyweight champion at the time, so it was cool then. It's weird now.
Weird, yeah.
Right? I have his autograph.
Yeah.
That's weird.
You still got it? Yeah.
I still got it. I don't have Charlie Manson's autograph, but I do have Chris Benoit's.
Yeah.
That's weird to shake, to be. I'm not a very old man, but I have met a serial killer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's wild.
That's crazy.
Is that the only serial killer you've come across?
Maybe.
Oh, we don't know yet.
That's the only one that was outed.
Damn. Yeah. I remember. Whenever Mick Foley was doing his "Have a Nice Day" book tour, I met him at a Barnes and Noble or cool. Books a Million. And I was
super cool.
It's back then you didn't know like the lifestyle that these people had of like just road dogs and carrying on and with.
I don't know. Like, did anyone ever think that these people were like glamorous, upstanding, moral citizens? That sounds insane to me. The idea that anyone was ever looking at Hulk Hogan and be like, "This is who my kid should base their life on." You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. What are we talking about here?
Yeah. It's a weird you see. Was it Dark Side of the Ring and Beyond the Mat?
I was on Dark Side of the Ring.
And were you?
Shout out to Dark Side of the Ring. Yeah, it was Rob Black. Shout out to Rob Black.
Oh,
What's up, Rob Black? I will fight you.
Yeah, they're. I think the guys that make that are based in. I don't know where they are, but I know they're Canadian.
Yeah, it's through Vice TV, which is a Toronto-based network.
That's cool. Do you keep up with that show? It's a great show.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen it all. They've stopped playing it. They do have Tales from the Territory going now, and I've been in contact with them. So I'm trying to weasel myself an episode of that. But if not, I'll play a character.
Who on Tales from the Territory? Who would be your ideal person you would want to play in a
Michael
one
Hayes?
Of those dark? Yeah.
Yep.
I could see it.
Let's party. Hell yeah, let's party.
Would you want to be like? The Hardy Boys era Michael Hayes? Like what era of Michael Hayes?
Oh, for sure. Give me skin-tight clothing. Give me
skin-tight
wash, whatever.
Brush velvet or whatever, yeah.
I want to start wearing Jenko jeans again. I don't know, man. It just seems like fun.
Bring it back.
Right?
I guess that's probably still a company.
There's still enough dudes wearing those that they can produce that company, for sure. That's not just Value Village finds. Those are out there.
Oh man, were you as a kid? Were you into Jinko, or were you into? Did you have terrible?
Man, I definitely have photos of me with like baggy pants, and spiked hair, and a acid wash shirt, and like yellow goggles. You know what I mean? Like the type Grandmaster Sexy used to wear. I think I would go so far as to say I had blonde, frosted tip, spiked hair, and like a metal beaded necklace. I was in the 90s. What do you want? I was like 8.
What do you want?
I'm not making these decisions, and if I am, why are you letting me make them? So life goes on, you know. I don't know. I look ridiculous then. I feel pretty good about the way I look now, so I'm okay with having done it. I'm more concerned with how I'm going to feel when I'm like 45 looking on now, being, Jesus, you should have got a haircut or just something, right?
Have you lost a stipulation match where you had to cut your hair or do anything wacky?
No, I don't think so. I got hauled off by the cops at one show.
Really?
So I guess, yeah, it was like, I don't think it was a loser spends the night in jail match, but it was definitely after I lost. I was screaming and yelling, and the cops came in and put me in cuffs and took me out. Oh God, I can't even remember. Like I was doing tours of northern Canada. I could not tell you what village we were in, but it was in some northern Manitoba, something like that. I don't know. Yeah. Fun people, fun crowds, man. But yeah, I couldn't tell you where in the hell I was. I haven't had to put my hair on the line, thankfully. I haven't had to put my mustache on the line. Someone was talking about that, but you want me to risk it for the biscuit? You better be paying a whole lot of cheddar. You know what I mean? I want a fatter Whopper.
Right. Well, luckily, the stuff, your mustache, beard grows back,
Yeah, but the pride will never come back, Once it's shamed like that, it's never quite the same.
That's true. Do you find wrestling in like smaller towns more like the crowds are wilder?
Sometimes it depends on where you are. It more depends on the demographic. Wow. Sometimes you have a child-friendly show where it's mostly children, and at that point, they're excitable, they're rowdy, and we're good to go, but it's just going to be a kind of a different cut. When it's like, 18 to 35-year-olds and they're drinking heavily, then this is going to be a raucous time, you know what I mean? And that's a whole lot of fun. When it's kind of a mixed mosh of everyone in there, it can still be fun, but sometimes it's hard to get everyone on the same page of this is how we're going to have excitement tonight, you know what I mean? It's like not every demographic is going to like the same movie to try and create that, but it is what it is. I'm hitting my stuff. Let me tell you, I'm going to win.
Oh, hell yeah. Do you, I guess, with like AEW or WWE, it's easier to keep like storylines going. Are you able with like Twitter and social media, are you able to keep like storylines going in the indies?
I mean, I guess I could. It's I don't know. It seems like a step too far.
Is that a thought
to me? It's certainly a thought because I know like guys do that and guys think about that. I don't know. To me, my life and what I'm doing is more interesting. You know what I mean? The presentation of this is what Ricky has done in the last 6 years is bizarre. I don't feel like wrestling is necessarily my art form. I believe that living is my art form. I believe that I am more or less the living work of art. You know what I mean? So to see me and follow me, that is the idea. Where to make it like, I'm in a feud with this guy. It takes they would have to be as good as me, and they're not. So that's hard to find. But also to get a consistent booking with the same guy throughout different places. I don't know. In my head, I could do all that, but why would I give these people the gracious of coming on to my channels and seeing my work when I can very much be this piece, this masterpiece that you can come and see and view and follow on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ProWilldy. That's PROWILLDY. And to continue that journey with whoever they may be putting me in these matches with and how that interplay and changes me as my story goes on, rather than giving the rub to these schmucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got you.
I'm not rubbing schmucks, is my point.
Rubbing schmucks. I got you. No rubbing schmucks. Yeah, I didn't even think about like you brought up a good point of trying to orchestrate being booked with the same people in different cities or whatever is probably difficult.
I'm working on getting myself booked, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
Slay one dragon at a time.
That's right. Do you have, I like your setup here. Do you have a Twitch?
No, during the pandemic, I had a podcast. Everyone had a podcast, right?
Right.
So now I've very rarely been in my home, so I have just the remnants of what the pandemic did to me left around. I guess I should, I don't know, move around, but I do kind of like it. You know what I mean? I wish I did more with the blue screen. Well, I've been doing some Zoom calls, and those all have different backgrounds, which I find funny, but I have never been on this setup here for You Had Options, unfortunately. I'm new here. It's my first day.
What do you expect? Yeah. What was your podcast about?
It was the Blackballed podcast. I think you can still find it on different channels and medias. I don't know. It was more or less just kind of wrestling stuff from around Ontario. It was something to keep busy, something to keep in the go. More or less just something to stay kind of creative and keeping, you know what I mean? But it didn't quite fit me, more or less. I do like the medium of podcasting. I really do. So I'm glad I at least tried my hand at one.
Yeah. It's cool.
Hey, are you a Halloween guy?
Yeah, I like Halloween.
I had a realization, you know, I do believe that jack-o'-lantern pumpkin carving, I believe that is one of my favorite art forms in the world. I only realized that this year. I wish I could go to a competition where there were like people speed carving pumpkins or carving pumpkins with a chainsaw. Hell, people carving pumpkins with a rock. You know what I mean? So like it's really hard and they're having a tough time and it's not even. I'd watch all of that. That seems like fun. I don't know why that doesn't exist. Maybe I'll start running those competitions because it seems like pumpkins are cheap. Like we can do that, right? I'll give all the seeds to charity, and they could eat all those pumpkin seeds.
Hey, man, you roast some pumpkin seeds, you got a snack on your hands. So, are you good at carving pumpkins?
No. My fine motor skills were damaged when I was a child. I got lost in a firework accident.
Damn.
Yeah,
so
it was a freak firework accident. It was filled with gasoline, not with firework. It exploded. There was a puff of dust. No one knew where anyone was. I ended up going to the wrong house. I was gone for 3 days. Lost my hearing. Got kind of messed up. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Crazy freak firework accident. I survived on nothing but Pop-Tarts and roast beef.
Are you into like horror movies and stuff?
Yeah, I'm pretty into horror movies. I don't know. I think Scream might be one of my favorite movies in general. It's a very it's a fun movie.
Perfect movie.
I watched the Hellraiser series this year, 1 through 5. I think there are like 12, but I only watched 1 through 5. Have you seen these movies?
Oh yeah, they get progressively more insane.
Okay, talk to me about 1 through 5. What did you think?
Well, the first one is like a masterpiece, you know, and then it starts getting. I think it's in the second one where the Cenobites make a deal with the daughter. Is that right? Because she's like. I remember she meets the Cenobites and she's like, "I know somebody that got away from y'all," and I remember Pinhead being like, "Nobody's ever gotten away from us. But if they had, who was it?" You know, it was just like this funny, we never make mistakes. But if we were to make a mistake, what's the deal? It just gets more wild and wild. I like the reboot they just put out on Hulu. It's pretty good. But yeah, the first one, masterpiece, that it just gets more insane.
I liked 1, 3, and 5. I found 2 and 4 to be kind of pedantic, and 5 did feel like it was heavily influenced from Fight Club that had come out just recently.
Oh yeah, is 5 the internet one? I can't remember.
I don't know if it's the internet. I don't think there's any internet. It's like a detective. And spoiler, 22 years ago, this movie came out. But it was the detective kills himself, but he's like, he is the Cenobite that he keeps seeing kill people. It's a whole fucking thing. It's all in the head. I apologize for swearing. I shouldn't have done that.
Oh, yeah. Let it fly.
Oh, no, I feel bad about myself doing that. But yeah, it's a heck of a trip. The movie ends with Pinhead saying, "Welcome to hell," and then it just kind of like rips the guy's face apart, and it fades to black. And I was like, "Roll credits! This is unbelievable! This is the best movie I've ever seen!" And then they came back with a dream sequence, and then it wasn't a dream sequence; it was a hot flash, and then it was kind of a nightmare, maybe. Yeah. There wasn't really an ending, and then it rolled credits. I was so disappointed. It was like 30, 40 seconds of just, didn't need to be here. I was furious.
Damn. Yeah, as a kid, my parents wouldn't let me watch that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so just seeing Pinhead, that's something you don't forget,
Yeah, for sure. He was definitely one of those iconic images, even though I hadn't seen the movies until now.
Yeah. It's the first one, masterpiece. And Rich, I started to look into, because I did a similar thing where I think they're all on Hulu or HBO or something, and so I just went through all of them. I did the same thing with the Saw series, and I liked looking up Rich Barker, the guy that made it or wrote the story. Come to find out he was super into like the Berlin like leather scene or whatever. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Checks out. Yeah.
Checks out. The line between pleasure and pain is blurred or whatever they say.
That. Yeah, a lot of that.
Have you been whenever you're wrestling like a more kids show with more kids in the audience, have you ever screwed up and let an F-bomb fly or done
I've
anything
never.
like that?
It does happen a lot with guys. I don't like swearing in general. I'm not. I just don't care for it. I don't think it's creative. I think it's just a kind of a lazy thing. I don't know. I don't like it. But when I get real fired up, especially when I'm talking about horror movies, it does come out once in a while. So it's embarrassing, honest to God, because it's just like an overexcitement. But no, I don't generally have that problem when I'm in the ring. It's not that I can recall. I know that I once came out I came out of the curtain and I screamed, "Oh, it smells like wherever I was." You know what I mean? Just trying to be, I don't know, trying to be funny. And as soon as I got back through the curtain, the promoter was like furious that I said that it smelled like shit. And I definitively did not say that. I said the name of the town, but apparently throughout my screaming, the translation had been lost, and whoops, didn't work out for me on that one.
Damn. Yeah. Hey, you gotta these sweat hogs in the audience, you
gotta swing for the fences. You know what I mean? You can coach me to go less, but you can't coach to go more. So I'm gonna swing as hard as I can.
Have you always been that way in life?
No. I was 250 pounds when I was in grade 6. I was tremendously lazy. I was very overweight. I weigh far less now than I did when I was in grade 6. Not good would be the answer. But after I finished up going to college, I went to Battle Arts Academy, and Santino Marella really, showed me what it took to get things accomplished in life. So that was a huge help, and I do owe him that debt of gratitude.
Yeah, was there just a God, I gotta do something with myself type moment?
Just in general, it was the first time in my life. I was raised by a single mother, and I went to the public school system right through to university. Right. So it was a lot of, you tried your best, and that's okay. And we like your effort, and we appreciate that. And with Santino Marella, there's none of that. And it's either you did it or you didn't, and that's on you. And
damn,
I really responded to that. I really appreciated that. I don't know. Very few people had ever spoken to me like that in my lifetime. So to get dealt with like that, it really put me into a position where I can make all the excuses I want. That's on me. I'm the one who's going to deal with that. So why would I do that? And it was really just kind of the first time that was broken so clearly to me.
Damn. Yeah, that's true. It's yeah. Damn. There's a lot of life lessons in sports and sports entertainment and wrestling. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Now that said, I had put myself through a pretty intensive session of DDP yoga, and that's how I dropped most of the weight. Really? When I was in college, I recognized that I still had kind of a problem and I wasn't very healthy. And if I wanted to really take this wrestling thing serious, then I kind of needed to do something to get out of the position I was in. So I started doing DDP yoga, following that nutrition guide, and I lost a tremendous amount of weight and started, really putting on muscle and kind of putting myself into more of a position where I can actually be a professional wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. Have you contacted anybody at DDP yoga being like, I used to weigh 250 pounds and now look at me?
No, I don't. I don't know. That feels weird to me. That's not how I want to be known. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm Ricky. It's all part of the story, but I don't want people focusing on me as the transformation guy. Not that I don't know. It was a long time coming. I was losing weight through high school, and then DDP yoga was just more. It was more the discipline is where it came from, rather than the actual benefits. Although I did lose a ton of weight doing that as well. It was the first time I learned how to cook. You know what I mean? I was just eating takeout every night, and then you go through that process, and it's oh no, you can actually make food, and it doesn't have to be pizza pops.
Is DDP yoga an everyday thing? Is it an everyday workout?
It's as serious or not serious as you want to do. You know what I mean? So I started with 3 days a week, and even that was more exercise than I was getting, and then gradually I liked it. I was getting, I was feel the responses. So I would go into it more and more. And then it became an everyday thing. And then when it became an everyday thing, then it became a chore and I didn't like it as much. So I went to something else. And I don't know. It's I just finished meat month. So September was my meat month. So for September, I ate nothing but meat. And I went down a full belt size by doing that, that was great. But more importantly, I was making mistakes with my meal plan in August. And it was getting too acceptable that I could eat those kind of foods, and decided if I did a full meat cleanse, that means no sugar, no preservatives, really nothing. And that would be able to kind of clear out my system. So now I'm eating much cleaner come this October, even though I'm not doing the meat month. Again, just to change things up like that and have that kind of drastic alter to your plans, you can kind of start fresh.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of shock your system.
Exactly.
With the meat.
Yeah. A big old meat shock.
So what would be your lunch of choice, for meat month?
Fast all day except for coffee and water. And then when I got home, I would eat Wendy's beef patties, 4 large of them. And then I would work out and I would have 4 more, and I might have 4 more by the end of the day.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you're just going to Wendy's again, getting the patties?
Just Wendy's constantly. A lot of salt, a lot of beef patties. I would cheat by eating beef jerky or pepperettes, things like that. But I got way too reliant on that stuff because it's much more palatable than just the beef.
Right.
But that's what I was doing.
Yeah, I like do you still do intermittent fasting? Is that a normal?
That's something I've been doing for last 8 years, something. I don't know. It's just more convenient.
Yeah. I just, I'm not especially when I wake up, I'm
and most people
can't
aren't.
Eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the idea of once you're conscious of it, just okay, don't take the little nibble here and there. And now it's just, you're doing a thing instead of, I just haven't had a good breakfast or whatever the hell.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. It seems to work for me, and I'm just bad at like. Luckily, I have a girlfriend that lives with me that reminds me to eat.
Yep.
So it's important. Damn, we've gone almost an hour here, Ricky.
It's been fun.
Yeah,
thank you for having me.
It's been great. November 5th.
November 5th in Mississauga. You can search us on Eventbrite. That's Battle Arts Academy. It'll pop right up. Probably just Battle Arts. It'll pop right up. The show is for Holden Albright, Brendan Caulfield. We got Impact Wrestling Superstar. We got wrestling title belts from across Ontario. We got all of Ontario wrestling coming together. We got someone getting their legs waxed live. We got memorabilia being raffled off. We got it streaming live on THT on their streaming platform. You can find all the links necessary through all my pages on social media. That's ProWilldy, PROWILLDY, or just look up Battle Arts again, and it should be right there. Thank you, everyone, for your support, and thank you so much for having me on this show here today.
Hell yeah. Ricky, stay on for a minute, but you had options. You decided to talk to me, and I appreciate it.